All right.
The views expressed in the following show are of the host, the guest, and the callers. The content of the following show, its accuracy, authenticity, and the ramifications of the use or application of said content is the responsibility of those speaking and listening, not the broadcast medium. All right, we are back and we are live. Feet to the fire. I am your host, James Othnianchek, the Black Knight of Talk Radio. I wish I had about 4 arms here. We're doing a show here. First off, it's our 21st anniversary, Feet to the Fire. And it started out being a 4-hour show, live, multiple guests, doing that for years, and it eventually got to video and so forth. And now what I've been doing is switching over to Linux system, changing my whole studio around. Good thing to do, midstream. And I've been kind of lax on doing shows. But here we are, and I want to say thanks for those who have listened over the years and still contact with me and questions, guests, and so forth like that. And I thought the best person I could think of on the beginning of this new year and beginning the new system, helping me with his grace, helping me kind of get the kinks out, is Dr. Richard Allen Miller. He has been on this show a zillion times. He's one of the few guests I've actually got to meet in public a couple of times. It was good to see him and good to talk with him. So let me see if I can do this right and bring on the man himself, Richard Miller. There he is, and here he is. Richard, welcome to Feet to the Fire.
Thank you. You need to change your volume. It changed, we went through all of that, and then when you started, it changed again. Did you know that?
No, but...
Okay, it's all right. I can hear you fine.
I mean, while we're talking here, I'll fool with it, but I wanted to say hi. You are still out there in Grants Pass? Or
No, I'm living in Road River now, but...
Road River, that's what it is,
yeah.
Because I actually had a picture last time you were here of that area, which you actually knew the place. So, so what's shaking? Now, we're dropping your name here and there. I was reading an article about of all things cavitation and some big advances in that, and you've been talking about that for many years. So, still on the cutting edge, I guess, as how it is. So what's new with you? New book, I see?
Yeah, I've got a couple of new things happening. The first one is the Diamond Body. That just came out 2 weeks ago. Basically, I moved in 1974. I moved the Manager Foundation from Topeka, Kansas, to the University of Washington and added video feedback. And that was like the birth of cymatics, sacred geometry. That led to 1979. I bypassed the use of drugs and broke a code using Mora and Endomet, German acupuncture equipment, on the forehead, and was able to release specific neurotransmitters without having to take the drug. And taking those two concepts in 1983, then I created my own wormhole and took a group of scientists to Mars. And just in the last few months, NASA flew by Saturn, and it's got the exact same geometry.
What do you mean the geometry?
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by geometry?
The work that I'm doing is called the Diamond Body. It's a face-center cubic hexagonal closed-pack structure in solid-state physics. It has many names in history. The thing goes back to Merkaba mysticism, over 4,000 years of tradition in this kind of geometry. And when you do this in your mind's eye, if you use lucid dreaming, which is more real than consciousness, you can actually create a wormhole and go somewhere. And what the key is to figure out how to have consciousness tag along as a witness and then be able to come back and say what happened.
So when you say create a wormhole, you're talking about some kind of energy travel, not like you're not taking the body through, you're taking like the consciousness through. Is that what you're saying?
More than that, there's more going on. Consciousness isn't real, it's a dream state, or at least it will be in my new field theory. Stay tuned on that one, because who knows how long that field theory is going to last. But I'm writing a new field theory that would suggest that all the different choices that you had to this morning have happened. You didn't get your sound going. We started earlier. We had to cancel. Lightning struck. Whatever, snowed. All the different possibilities of what could have changed everybody's reality because you and I didn't do this talk have happened. And they're all happening simultaneous, and you're just witnessing one of them right now. It isn't the primary one. I'm going to guess there's a lot of different ones going on. How I came to understand this is difficult. It was, I watched a woman once rip a car door off to save her daughter in a flaming automobile. That's impossible. The adrenaline didn't make her bone or muscle stronger than steel. How could she possibly do that? And I'm going to suggest that the altered states of consciousness that we go through, all the different ones, and you and I have probably gone through about 7 or 8 of them if you subclassify them as frustration and all the other kinds of minor states that are different from consciousness. Each one has got its own universe where the laws of physics are different. And what I did is I gave 8 altered states of consciousness to Navy SEAL program, and it made them super soldiers. Imagine what would happen if we could somehow give 400 altered states of consciousness and use them like as tools in a toolbox. What could man do next in terms of evolution?
No, when you're I like how you brought up this thing about everything that happened today and all that stuff, and the lady who picked it up. Now, when she picked up that, are you saying like she changed the physical, like metaphysical construct of the universe she was in, or
well, yeah, she got all excited. This, her daughter's in this flaming automobile. She's got to save her daughter, and she just ripped the car door off to save it. That's her, but not her from this universe. That's her from a different universe where the laws of physics are different. And that's why she can rip the car door off when she's in that kind of mode where she can't in this conscious state that we're currently enjoying. We go through a lot of different levels of conscious states. John Curtis Gowan of Northridge did an ontology of mystical states, and I did include that in the Power Tools book, talking about the different kinds of altered states that we can get into with cosmic consciousness and awareness and things of that nature. And these are all different parts of us that are all going on simultaneous. And right now, I'm in this body enjoying, what we would call Peyton Place. That's what I call this place here. It's not real in one sense of the word. And why I'm going to try to envision it like that is so that I have a way of using it as a tool in a toolbox. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last. My last one lasted, what, 53 years, the holographic universe. But this one, I'm going to be lucky, maybe 10 years before someone comes up with something even better. I can tell you that as I'm understanding things, there will probably never be a theory of everything because consciousness, anything you could possibly imagine, that's chapter 8 in my last book, The Non-Local Mind in a Holographic Universe. Chapter 8 is the mind's eye, where imagination is reality. If you can see how something works in your mind's eye, that's what makes it real. That's what makes it work, not my physics. My physics, it begins with assumed truth. The shortest distance between 2 points, the Earth's round. But if space is curved, I can prove it's flat. Which one is it? And the correct answer is yes. That's how limited our concept of space is, like time. It's a construct. It's not real. It's the way we try to understand something.
I'm doing this now for the first time with Zoom, and I appreciate you were talking there because all of a
I
sudden,
saw you.
all of a sudden, Zoom is going. Oh, I'm sorry, you're just about out of time unless you'd like to subscribe. So I'm in the middle of subscribing while we're talking. It's always fun doing live shows. So I'm interested in this whole idea of this wormhole thing because I personally, in my own personal non-physics degree based mind, says you cannot take the physical body through a wormhole. I mean the whole idea of a black hole and all that stuff is if you're going to physically go through there, you're going to be crushed into another physics.
You're presuming a wormhole is from a black and white hole, correct?
Yeah, right.
That's the worm.
Yeah.
Barum. Yeah, there are barums in my brain. Yeah, no, this is different.
Right.
And, yeah, it's like astral projection or remote viewing. Those are other forms of travel that are easier to do in shorter distances, like not to stars, but over to the other country or out into the moon, or maybe next door, like mediumships do, and so on. But wormholes there's different kinds of wormholes that Paul Twitchell quoted, started Ekankar based on Sant Mat, which is 400 years of tradition out of India called soul travel, where you start your meditation at the third eye, and at some point you leave your body and you actually physically go home for a brief moment, like the multiverse, where you're connected with all the other parts of you, the other 9/10 of your unconscious mind. I don't know. What are you doing there? You're looking at things here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a little thing like Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind it, because you have a camera going right in the studio watching me. They can't see me, so
I see.
don't tell on me. I'm trying to rapidly subscribe to Zoom before they cut the signal. So I am listening. I am listening, but I'll be done here in 1 second. If you want to, okay. But that's what I thought about the wormhole, because I think speed of light you can't go above, and you can't go into like a wormhole. I mean, we're stuck here. But mind, mentally, and spiritually, or whatever, that can move about. So when you were talking about this wormhole thing, I get it when you're talking about consciousness or however expanded consciousness or whatever, or traveling to your I don't know your.
How did Johnny Depp put it? What do you mean, wee white man? There's, speaking of black holes and white holes, I did a study, and this is an important concept that might be useful for trying to circumvent or try to circle in on your answer. I did a study on the Oregon vortex with a PBY at 15,000 feet with an interferometer. And what bends light at 15,000 feet? That's a black hole. And so, mini black hole. And I'm guessing that all the ley lines and the Bermuda Triangle are mini black holes on the Earth in a specific geometric alignment of some kind that's going into the out of. I sense that we don't even have a clue yet what we're doing because, you know, I think we're like sugar ants in Gaia's kitchen, you know, with all the plastic in the ocean and all the rest of it. Well, you tell me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's terrible, and yet Saturn had the same geometry at the North Pole. You know what that implies? That implies that our solar system is most likely a life form, and I have no idea where that goes, but I could guess it probably has seats for 144,000. What do you think? All
But
aboard.
it actually is my personal theology is that the planets are a life form and it keeps going because I look at it more of an infinity. So as we go down to smaller parts, pieces, it goes down into another uh, universe of some type. And as you go up, same way. And as you pull back, so like for example, the Earth might be multiple dimensions. Not I don't mean like length, width, height, dimension, but and so all we can see in our dimension is the part of the life form Earth that can be seen in our dimension, which works out for us because, trees like it and so on.
Well, trees are an interesting life form in themselves. They're like a crystal. Did you know that trees have an electric system or an electronic system where they, like a crystal does, where there's an event horizon, an impending storm, and the mycelium notifies all the.
There we go. Oh